Welcome back for another video. It's been over a week since I've last provided any update on my team, and I've sharpened around the edges, made a lot of changes, so let's run through the new team. Thanks for the incredible reception to the pre-season videos so far. The comments and engagement every video has been unreal. I still read every comment even if I'm unable to reply to them all. In other news, Son has just announced that he's going to be leaving Spurs after 10 years, so I've made a quick graphic here of Son over the years. Certainly an FPL legend, 10 years, 454 games, 173 goals, 101 assists, and in terms of FPL, 1,730 points. The streets won't forget prime Son and Kane in FPL. And also, lastly, the Focal League is open to join for you all. The code is DDQIOU. So chuck that in your app and get in the league before the season kicks off. The winner goes in the description of every video forever. There's an auto join link below as well. The next video will be the return of the long awaited pre-season form players videos, which I know loads of you have been asking about. I know it's a favourite piece of pre-season content for a lot of you. There will be just the two of them this season, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. All teams' pre-seasons will be covered, the results, the goal scorers, assisters, tactical observations of FPL relevance and loads more. So let's get into the team, and in goal I've opted for Chelsea Sanchez, who in my view I think is going to be amazing value for 5 mil if he remains nailed through the season. There is a very slight lingering doubt, like if he hits a bad patch of form, Maresca might look towards Jurgensen. Perhaps he will regardless around Champions League football. He has cemented the spot as his own for now, that's for sure. Like, he was unbelievable in the Club World Cup final. Arguably man of the match, if not for Palmer's brace. And he's massively improved his distribution, claiming crosses, the timing of his sweeping as well. And I really like Chelsea's fixtures as well at a glance. And the fixture ticker widget on my app agrees with that. On the opening 5 game weeks, Chelsea are 5th best. However, I'm actually considering a Gameweek 13 wildcard because there's some insane fixture swings for Liverpool, Man City and Newcastle in particular. They play against the 3 promoted side, loads between them. So that places Chelsea very top from that fixture run. And the same as well if I filter specifically to defensive fixtures. In defence it's now Saliba, Van Dijk and Milenkovic. Gabriel's yet to play in pre-season, he's working through an injury which the medical staff are managing. There is a chance that he'll be back in the team for their final 2 pre-season games. They've got Villarreal and Athletic Bilbao, and then it's Game Week 1. But yeah, in the meantime, Saliba just makes far more sense until that situation changes. The immediate term fixtures are a bit of a mixed bag for Arsenal, I am aware of that. They've got Liverpool Game Week 3, they've got Man City Game Week 5. But longer term, I really like the fixtures. And I'm trying to minimise potential areas that I'll have to make transfers. They do have Leeds in Game Week 2, which is great. And in Game Week 7, they've got a really nice run. That's when they've got West Ham, Fulham, Palace, Burnley, Sunderland, leading into that potential Game Week 13 wildcard. I came across a clever bit of analysis from Tom Hadley, who some of you might remember. He actually came on the channel last season when he was #1 in the world. So what are we looking at here? Well, with defensive contribution points factored in, he's measured the percentage of times that a defender would have scored fewer than 2 points last season. So Tarkowski and Saliba were the winners, only 15.2% of the time. And this is quite interesting reading because it's answering the question, which defenders generally have got the highest floor under these new rules? So yeah, about 1 in every 6.6 games, those top 2 would have scored under 2 points. Van Dijk also would have fared extremely well with 16.2% of games. Murillo was a defensive contributions beast and he would have been just 16.7% of games. So why Milenkovic over Murillo then? I'm really going back and forth on this one. Like, do we want to completely be ruled by defensive contribution players? Are they a trap, or is that the only way to play with defenders now? Or can we pick players that are a mixture of good defensive contributions but also good goal threat? So let's get really nerdy with it now. I've got 2 tables for you here. One is from Solio Analytics, which measures the DEFCONs last season. And the other one is comparing their attacking data from Scout. So Murillo hit the 10 CBIT threshold in 53% of games last season. So just over every other game, an extra 2 points. Milenkovic 35% of the time, so about 1 in every 3. However, when we compare the attacking stats, Milenkovic is miles ahead. 4.02 expected goals to Murillo's 1.42, 4.56 XGI versus 2.56. It was 5 goals and 2 assists for Milenkovic. He's absolutely massive, huge aerial threat on those set pieces. And it was 2 goals, no assists for Murillo. Part of me wants to chase that upside and go for the goal threats. Hopefully I'm kind of explaining myself well here. I think you can go for players that offer that mixture of both, but we'll have to see how it plays out. But yeah, in terms of last season, one more table to show you here. This is also from Scout. They recalculated every single player's points under the new rules from last season. And look at this, Milenkovic would have been the top scoring defender in the entire league last season with 178 points. Murillo would have been second, 169. So yeah, Milenkovic actually would have been ahead last season. Use the link in the description to access all of Scout's goodies, and you can also get a 47% pre-season discount with that link. The midfield 5 is Salah, Palmer, Rogers, Adingra and Sarr. For a while, as you know, I was on a Haaland draft which had no Salah, but first of all it did mean Saka, who may not be on penalties now with Gyökeres. But secondly, Zabarnyi is also now reportedly close to a move to PSG, which means Bournemouth would have lost 4 of their back line from last season: Kepa, Howson, Kerkez and Zabarnyi. To play devil's advocate, because a lot of people are talking about how Bournemouth are finished now, which I think is a massive exaggeration. Like, Petrovic is a better keeper than Kepa. And Trafford, the Kerkez replacement, I think could be an upgrade on Kerkez. And Senesi's a really solid defender. Like, he was injured last season for a long spell, which meant Howson had to start and ended up breaking through. But I just can't look past Salah captain Gameweek 1, so yeah, welcome back into the team, Mo. I can't see myself moving from the Salah and Palmer combo now. Chelsea's fixtures are just too good to drop Palmer for Haaland, Saka or Isak, so yeah, they both feel like locks now. What's the deal with Adingra then? I took a bit of inspiration from last season's FPL champion Lovro when we did a video on his team just a few days ago. The 5.5 mil options are really limited. The 3 that I like are Adingra, Anderson and Wilson. Adingra is obviously signed for big money. Sunderland's shown loads of ambition. He's going to be completely nailed on the wing, and he's got Prem experience. But yeah, his numbers have never been that great, but of course his minutes haven't been either, and they will be now. But yeah, as the fixture ticker widget earlier showed, Sunderland are top for the opening game week, so yeah, he's the upside chasing pick. The alternative choice is Anderson from Forest, who's really good for defensive contributions. He only scored 2 goals last season, just got the 6 assists, so I'm not ruling Anderson out at all. He's a boring but sensible choice, and again, he's a player that can increase your team's floor in terms of points really. No one has more goal involvements in pre-season than Harry Wilson at Fulham though. 5 goals and an assist. He's been on fire, and he looks set to start Gameweek 1 without a doubt. He is a riskier pick for minutes though, which isn't my playstyle. There is that chance he comes off early, there is that chance that he could be dropped if he starts losing form. So yeah, it's not really my playstyle to go for those sort of players. I want players that are going to play generally 90, so Anderson or Adingra look likeliest for me. There's a few 6.5 mil mids in the conversation as well. There's Kudu, Sarr and Dye and so on. Sarr's actually my favourite, purely because he just blows the rest away for underlying data last season. Obviously, when we talk about last season, it doesn't necessarily translate to this one, but 17.46 XGI places him so far ahead of the others, over double in Dyer's XGI for example. I can see lots of managers picking him up in Gameweek 4, that's when they've got Sunderland and West Ham back to back. I just need to hope that he delivers in the opening of 3 game weeks, because it would really test my patience by Gameweek 4 if he's blanked 3 games in a row. Palace have been on fire in pre-season, like Mateta, Sarr, Eze Munoz, they've all been chipping in with goals and assists. I just really hope for Sarr's sake that Eze stays, because otherwise, yeah, I think that's going to massively damage their attack. And up front, it's Wood and Watkins. Now, Solanke's still really tempting if he gets some good minutes before the pre-season finishes. They've got 3 more games, including the Super Cup against PSG. He played 45 minutes back on July 19th, Solanke, and he's missed the 3 games since injured. Now, I don't dislike the Wood pick either. Like, he's also on pens, he's got great fixtures, and obviously they've held on to Gibbs White now, who looked like he was leaving. That would have been a massive loss. So I really like the idea of Wood. There's another player that I can just stick in and hopefully not need to change for at least 6 game weeks. Like, game week 5 and 6 in particular looks irresistible. They've got Burnley and Sunderland back to back. And Villa are exactly the same, so the Rodgers and Watkins combo is really growing on me over pre-season. They've got amazing fixtures, and especially given the fact they've both been delivering in pre-season. Against Eintracht Frankfurt, they both scored, and in the next match against St. Louis City, they both scored again. Marlon also, he's been going under the radar. I actually should have mentioned him when I was talking about the 5.5 mil mids. Of course, in my case, I'm not going to triple up in attack, so Marlon's off the cards for me, and that's why he's not in consideration for my team. Watkins has averaged 196 points over the last 3 seasons, so you know what you're going to get from him. And with Duran gone, his minutes are no longer under threat like they were before, which was what put me off him last season in the first half. Of course, I need to pay close attention to the transfer window, which closes after the Gameweek 1 deadline, because if it looks likely that Watkins is going to leave for Man United, for example, then that would put me off buying him. On the bench, it's Hladji, Estev, Senesi and Gu. Senesi's a really under the radar pick, I'd say. Like 2 seasons ago, he got 4 goals, 5 assists, I think it was. He was injured last season, and now he's back to 4.5 mil. He's really good for defensive contributions. He averaged 9.41 per 90 last season, 8.69 the year before, so not too far under that 10 threshold on average. Of course, as I said earlier, they have lost most of their backline, so we'll have to see how their defence does, and I could end up swapping him out. But the reason I've got him in at the moment is I'm looking at Gameweek 4, Forest are away to Arsenal. That's when I want to bench Milenkovic. And that's when Senesi's home to Brighton. And just overall, like, the fixtures are pretty nice with Bournemouth after Gameweek 1, so he could be a useful player to come off the bench. And likewise Estev, who's completely nailed in centre-back for 4 mil. So I've got 2 nailed starters right now on the bench. And Gu's also joining Sunderland on loan from Chelsea, where you'd expect him to get some minutes. He's probably going to be off the bench rather than starting, but we'll have to see. That's really about all you can ask for a 4.5 mil forward anyway. Thanks very much for watching as always, and don't forget to like and subscribe before you go. See you soon for the next one.